This issue of Albert Ojwang is just a tip of the iceberg. Hundreds of young people have been tortured to death by a special squad of 101 officers that was set up on the instructions of William Ruto and seconded to NIS and Anuddin Haji and trained highly on abductions, torture and killings and cover-up.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the backstory. If you're new here, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the investigations into the murder of blogger cum teacher Albert Ojwang is giving IPOA at the police service a lot of headache. If you look at the way they have been giving updates on the circumstances leading to Ojwang's death, you left wondering if it's a mix-up, confusion, or it's something that is being done intentionally so as to confuse the masses. Several questions have been raised by Kenyans, and now there is a twist to the whole story, in that IPOA now claims that they have managed to arrest 3 civilians who they claimed were used by police officers from Central Police Station to torture Ojwang to death. Get it? 3 civilians who are not mentioned anywhere from the beginning. That 3 civilians have been arrested and they are being held in different police stations in Nairobi as IPOA continues with investigations. I want you to listen to this video.
Uchunguzi kuhusu mauaji ya kikatili ya mwanablogu na mwalimu Albert Ojwang unaendelea kushika kasi baada ya mamlaka ya kuchunguza utendakazi wa polisi ya IPOA kuwakamata washukiwa wengine 3 wanaodaiwa kuhusika katika mateso na mauaji yake akiwa korokoroni. 3 hao ambao walikuwa mahabusu katika kituo cha polisi cha Central wakati Ojwang alipofikishwa sasa wanazuiliwa katika vituo tofauti vya polisi vya Kilimani, Mudhangari na Kileleshwa. Kwa mujibu wa uchunguzi, inadaiwa kuwa maafisa wa polisi waliwatumia mahabusu hao kumtesa Ojwang hadi kufa. Haya yanajiri huku IPOA ikiendelea kuokoa picha za kamera za CCTV ambazo ziliharibiwa kwa lengo la kuficha ushahidi. Uchunguzi umebaini kuwa sehemu kubwa ya picha hizo zimepatikana na zinachukuliwa kuwa muhimu sana katika uchunguzi unaoendelea. Washukiwa hao Jean Amitou Abwao, Collins Karani Ireri na Brian Mwaniki Njue wanatarajiwa kufikishwa mahakamani Jumatatu pamoja na mkuu wa kituo cha Central Samson Talama anayezuiliwa katika kituo cha polisi cha Lang'ata.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the pressure on President William Ruto's government and IPOA and the police force is too much, and the earlier they tell Kenyans the truth, the better, because I know this thing will come to light at some point, because Kenyans are working day and night to get the truth. But now, this twist is very interesting in that the fact that there is the introduction of the civilian angle to the whole story means that in a clever way, the plot now shifts. The focus now shifts from the police service to the civilian. In that, look at it this way. There has been a narrative that has been going around that there is a killer police squad that has been created. And Kenyans have been asking questions and have been telling the government to tell them if this is the case and who are these people who are involved in this.
Finally, this issue of Albert Ojwang is just a tip of the iceberg. Hundreds of young people have been tortured to death by a special squad of 101 officers that was set up on the instructions of William Ruto and seconded to NIS and Anuddin Haji, and trained highly on abductions, torture and killings and cover up. Hii tu ni vile tu imeponyoka hii ya Ojwang. Wengi sana wamekufa. And William Ruto cannot run away from these deaths. He is responsible. And Kenyans will punish him for that. That case of Ojwang is being, there is a cover up. Aipoa, hawa watu, Ruto ndiye ameweka hapo. IG ni mtu yake. DIG ni mtu yake. DCI ni mtu yake. Hata DCI alienda bunge. Akadanganya bunge ya kwamba ati alipelekwa akiwa uhai, akakufa akiwa mikononi mwa daktari. CCTV imeonyesha alifika amekufa. Akaketi hapo 24 minutes wakingoja tu.
And the fact that there is the introduction of these civilians means that the responsibility, the ultimate responsibility, which is the responsibility of murder, now shifts from the police force to the civilians. In that, had it been, because ultimately, if these people are involved, then they're the people who will be charged for murder. The police officers who have been arrested might only be charged for having aided or participated in the whole process, but they might not go down for murder, and this gives them lesser charges, even though investigations are still going on. But if you're looking at this keenly, you're able to see that whatever narrative is being coined here points to a fact that they're trying to draw that blame to other people. The senior police officers have been questioned. When this started, so many Kenyans were talking about arresting the OCS, Talam. Talam said he was not at the central police station. He was somewhere else. Then the focus now shifted to the deputy OCS because he was seen somewhere in Baghdad. And now that his senior was not there, he was the one who was responsible for anything that was happening within that police station. So the focus now shifted to him. And after all these people realized that this thing was going to nail down these police officers, and ultimately, if it nailed down a police officer, then it means if there was an order from above, then someone senior was also going to go down. And for them not to drag all these people down, that is my hypothesis, then it means another angle had to be created, which now shifts the responsibility from the police service to the civilians. In that, someone will be charged, but they will be charged with some kind of, they'll be given some kind of lesser charge. But the ultimate responsibility now, if these guys are found to be guilty, then they are the ones who are going to bear the most responsibility. But the question that still comes is, was this pre-planned? If these guys were procured before Albert Ojwang arrived at Central Police Station, what was the motive of procuring these guys? Because I don't think you can just procure someone to just come and torture. Maybe it was already premeditated that the end game was to kill this guy. And if it was to kill him, then what was the message that these guys were going to do? What were going to send? And why not just take him to a court of law? Why did they have to procure someone or a third party to come and torture him? Those are the questions that Kenyans are asking. But even if all these things are happening, There are so many questions that the police service is still not telling Kenyans. There's still a lot of secrecy, a lot of confusion, which for me, I think are somehow intentional, so as to confuse the masses. You end up not having a clear narrative of what happened. And at the end of it, someone who was supposed to bear the responsibility goes scot-free. And then it also absolves the police force from what Kenyans have been asking, or what other politicians like Rigathi Gachagua have been talking about, of having a police killer squad that have been kind of assassinating or killing Kenyans in an extrajudicial way. Because if this narrative passes and it is found that it is the civilians who participated, then it means, in a way, they are going to say that whatever narrative that was being pushed by the likes of Rigathi Gachagua of having a killer squad is null and void. But if it is found that the police officers were involved participated directly in the murder of Albert Ojwang, then it justifies whatever these politicians have been talking about, of having rogue police officers within the service who have been acting on behalf of maybe their bosses or on their own behalf. But the most important thing that this government needs to do is to act decisively on matters to do with rogue police officers, because it has been said by the president, it has been said by the CS Internal Security, that is Murkomen, that indeed there are rogue police officers. And if they were serious about this, then they should have used at least one of the guys. If it's found that one of them participated in a way or the other, then one needs to serve as an example. Because if they are not charged, or if they do not take the responsibility, then it means they're going to send a message to other rogue police officers that, oh, even if you commit a crime that is worth going to jail, you will be covered. Your traces will be covered by maybe your seniors or colleagues within the service. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll keep monitoring what's going on, and we'll keep you guys updated on every development until we get to the bottom of all this. But if you're new here, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Until next time, bye bye.